We're back, obviously, at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix 2025 with Markmann براين from Autosport, F1 business correspondent. It's not your first year in Jeddah. You've been here a few times. Have you seen it improve with every time you've been here, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember coming here in 2021. It was a little bit different because of COVID and things like that, obviously, but the fact they got this place done when they did, having had the race signed off when it was, I mean, there might have been the odd lick of paint missing from this amazing paddock, but other than that, they put on a great race, which also fell, let's remember, at a great time in the championship with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton going head to head. So yeah, from that moment to now, I think it's developed a lot. I think it's just one of those things. The Saudi, the guys that put this race on, you learn, don't you? You learn how to improve things, not just on the track, but in the paddock and for the media and things like that. And that there's definitely been an increase in that, I think. Yeah, the learning has been quite quick.
Yeah. You get to know your bearings, surely. The drivers as well. I don't think it's easy. It cannot be easy going into a track that is debuting. I mean, it really must be like a worry. I would imagine drivers going into a new season and you see Jeddah back in 2021, like, okay, anything can happen on that track. But now, as the years tick by, and a lot of local interest in the automobile itself. Maybe not open wheel racing, and that has obviously gotten better with the years, but motorsports runs in our blood. You know, we love our cars. People invest in cars, they're always tuning their cars, and I've actually seen it in the last 4 years translate to more butts in seats, if you will, between 21-22 to 24-25. You get a lot more in attendance. Have you noticed?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. I mean, you look at those, your average cars, if you like, and then you look down here and you've got Ferrari, and you've got McLaren, and you've got Aston Martin, and you've got, do you see what I mean? So those brands exist here, Mercedes as well, of course. Those brands that are cars that you might have yourself, or you tune yourself and you drive yourself, you almost, I suppose, by proxy then can come here and support those brands and those teams here. So there's definitely a correlation between the two, I think.
It does. On a macro level, Mark, obviously Saudi really positioning itself to be at the forefront of everything sports related. That's not news to anyone. But from a business perspective, what do you think makes the Saudi GP a strategic investment for F1?
It's a good question. I think this part of the world is still an untapped market. It sounds a silly thing to say when you look at, we've got Bahrain, we've got Abu Dhabi, we've got Qatar, and we've got here. But there's a reason that we've got 4 races in such a, if you like, small part of the world. In terms of geographically, they're quite close together. But there's a market here. There's sponsors that want to be involved. There's partners that want to be involved. Aramco obviously sponsors Aston Martin, title sponsor. They want to be here. So I think that's part of it. It's a destination on the F1 calendar for sure. A lot of people talk about Monaco, Miami, but I think, and Singapore maybe. But this is developing. It's still quite new, but could easily develop into one of those races where the VIPs want to come because of what's on offer.
On the subject of Drive to Survive, I asked Toto this and I asked Chris this. I'm going to ask you this. Did you anticipate the effect or the influence of the show to be what we ended up seeing? Whereby everyone down to my wife now knows Formula 1 and can point out 10 of the 20 drivers.
Yeah, the good looking ones. It's just not at all. And if anyone says they did, they're lying. Most of the teams on this that we now look at around us weren't sure about it. Some teams weren't even involved in those early series. And yes, it benefited, I think, hugely from COVID, because there were people at home with nothing to watch, and there was a full series, and then they go, oh, I watched that full series, but, oh, and actually, the racing's still going on now. So when football was, like most countries, you lost soccer, you lost those kind of sports. F1 managed to keep going, kept being global as well. So I think that those two things went hand in hand. It was a product people could watch, and you develop a passion for the character. It's almost like a character show, isn't it, right?
It is.
You mentioned your wife then. She might not sit and watch a whole Grand Prix, but she'll know that the name of Charles Leclerc's dog or things like that. Do you know what I mean? So, and there's nothing wrong with that, because it's still bringing eyes to Formula 1. So I think the success is completely unparalleled.
It's fantastic. Yesterday I asked Toto why Kimi. He said at the age of 11, I saw the fire in his eyes that I saw in Lewis. Do you see Kimi as being someone who will really make a name for himself in the sport?
100%. I mean, I was in Monza last year when he binned it in his first ever outing. He'd done 4 laps in a Formula 1 car and crashed. Toto and everyone obviously rallied around him and said, look, we don't mind, because before that we saw how quickly he was going in this car. We thought, that's incredible. Like, obviously at that time, maybe got a little bit carried away, but he's a teenage kid, essentially, with one of the best cars on the grid. And we were just talking there about George being impressive. Kimi Antonelli's not far behind him, and this guy's never raced until this season in Formula 1. think he's impressing everyone. And when you hear what other drivers have to say about him, what Lewis has said about him, what George has said about him, then he's going to, as long as he keeps his head down, works hard and keeps progressing, he's got future world champion written all over him, I think.
Fantastic. And he's in a great system at Mercedes under the tutelage of Mr. Toto Wolff. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mark. Enjoy Jeddah. Yeah, hopefully Sunday goes as exciting as we hope that it does.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, sir. All the best. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, man.